Hello, Jimmy. Good to see you.
Hey James, good to see you.
For
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, Jimmy is from Smart DCC, the Director of External Communications, and you're here today to answer three questions with me.
Yes, it's nice to be on the hotspot. Yeah, one of the questions got asked of me actually a couple of Saturdays ago. So yeah, interesting.
Well, let's see how you responded then, shall we?
Okay.
So the first question is that dreaded networking slash party slash family reunion question of, wait, what do you actually do?
I know on the face of it, every corporate affairs professional looks to protect and enhance their organization's reputation. But if I take a step back and look at my role in DCC, I've got the task of making something invisible visible. So I'll explain. You've got this piece of critical national infrastructure that, see, you can't touch, even though it has a 99.3% coverage across Great Britain. I'm talking about the smart meter network that, DCC built, operated, is now modernizing. We've got nearly 35 million smart meters on the network. We're reaching to over half of British homes. And my job is to explain to stakeholders how important this network is to helping Great Britain achieve its net zero ambitions. I also have to combat misconceptions and misunderstandings about smart metering. Yeah.
Looking back over your career, 'cause it's been quite varied as well. You didn't start out in the world of corporate affairs. Is there a piece of advice you'd give your younger, more junior self?
Junior self. One piece of advice I'd give my younger self is don't be afraid to fail. I think my career would have been a lot richer if I'd overcome the fear of failure and taken more risks. I don't think I took enough risks in my career. And there's a wealth that failure gives you that you can't buy. I think of Rupert Soames, who used to be chief exec of Agreco. I listened to him some months back on a podcast, and he'd been fired in his career. And at Agreco, he wasn't the first choice. He wasn't the second choice. He was the third choice. But he
I
made a success of his role. And, failure doesn't define you. And it's okay to fail.
think it's a really interesting point. There's an old proverb about there's no good news or bad news, there's just news. And until what is to come has played out, you can't possibly understand whether this was a good or bad moment in my career or in life. So I guess it's that kind of acceptance of things are going to happen one way or another. So there's no
Absolutely.
worrying about them.
I mean, you know my career well. You've helped with my career. You know the pain points in my career, and you know where I am now.
Yeah.
I think I'm richer through the adversity I've had in my career. And you and I have talked about this because thanks to you, I got myself an exec coach. But you can tell the depth of a person through the adversity they've gone through, the things they've failed at, what they've learned from it, being able to step back and actually reflect and speaking with people who failed and learning from their own mistakes. But there's just this wealth of experience you get from failure.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, brilliant. That's a great answer. Love that.
Yeah, thank you.
So the question I'm always interested in is if you weren't working in the world of corporate affairs,
Ooh.
what would you be doing? What would you want to be doing?
I know full well what I'd love to be doing.
Yep.
In another life, I'd have loved to be a diplomat.
Wow, I can see that.
I would have loved to have been a diplomat. Back in Nigeria, where I was born and raised, my dad was a journalist, so that had an influence on me. I actually didn't want to be in this world. I studied accounting, but one way or the other, I found myself in my father's footsteps. I don't know how that happened, but I always wanted to be a diplomat. I wanted to work in the United Nations. From about 14, back in Lagos, Nigeria, I went to a French school to learn French as a second international language. But I'm in corporate affairs, in comms, and I guess the loss to the foreign service is the gain of a comms world. Hopefully, I'm making an impact here. I mean, the skills are there because stakeholder management. You have to a lot of tact in building relationships. So yeah, the skills are there. But but jetting off to New York, meeting presidents and all that, that's not a bad shout.
To say, my wife and I binge watched The
With
Diplomat.
on Netflix. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's not that glamorous, but it really does seem great.
Yeah.
Love that. Great answer. And I can see that for you. Who knows in the future, hey? Who knows?
Hey, who knows? In this age where you have more than one career, who knows?
Brilliant, Jimmy. Well, look, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
And
thank you. It's always a
very,
pleasure.
very grateful.
Thank you.